The important thing is that we're going to be having a little hang with Andy Reiner today. And like this guy's an amazing player and educator and writer and chopper and groover and skier. He skis, he podcasts. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, so we're just going to get right to it. Andy, how's life treating you, man?
Well, you can ask me questions, eh? Do you want to start with questions or should I do a tour?
Yeah, why don't you do a tour? Yeah, show us what you got, man.
So the age-old question of electric violins is what happens between the violin and the amp? Also, people have a lot of amp opinions. I have some opinions. I like cheap, heavy, old-school amps. So I bought what is the sort of the Marshall stack of acoustic amps. This is the California Blonde. You can see how much we love them in this family. We have two of them because it's a sort of a defunct bass amp company, and I'm the kind of guy who will walk into the pawn shop across the street from my gig and see if there's anything cool. And one time I walked in and there was just this big 50-pound thing. I plugged my YV in and I was like, this is it. Like you can get all the thunderous cello tones that I need from when I start hitting my micro pop. And sure, I'm going through some Mac speakers or Mac whatever right now. So you're not, unless you're also listening through a thunderous sound system, you won't get the full bass effect. But that's the internet today. My whole setup is based around the idea of what do guitar players do? I was playing a lot of jam band gigs when I moved to Colorado, and for electric mandolin, electric guitar, they would always have a tube amp, and they would put the sound engineer would put a microphone on it, and it sounded super awesome. So I found a company called Tech 21 who makes analog tube amp simulation, and I put it on my board. So let's start with the dry sound. I've got a tone bone, the radial tone bone PZ Pre is my sort of base of operations. I plug my instrument into it, and then everything else is in the effects loop. Okay, so here's my tone, just going straight into that, nothing else turned on. Turn the reverb off. There's a recognizable, not much happening, dry electric violin tone.
Yeah, but it sounds great. I love that. It's a very, very fantastic, like it's a violin-y sound. It sounds like a violin.
Yeah, but I want more. I always want more. So I've turned on my tube amp simulation now. This is the Tech 21 Fly Rig Cali. So with it's doing a lot more than just adding volume. The volume's not really what I'm looking for. It's just, it really makes the thing thick.
Yep.
And I just love that. So this pedal is awesome. In one little tiny sliver, like this big, you get this tube amp simulation, you get a reverb, although I have one that I like better. I've got a delay, with the tap tempo. That thing rules, and it's also got this beastly distortion. Where the boost button, if you're taking a solo, like if I show up to a bluegrass gig, it's time for me to solo, I'll hit this boost button, and it'll make you louder. But when you're using its distortion tube amp, it sends it more gain. It doesn't make it any more loud, it just a little more gain. That's pretty much the distortion sound of my dreams. especially when you consider that the Electro Harmonix Micropog will give you that cello situation. And by the way, one of the other nice things about the tube amp simulation is it makes all the effects sound better. Now, of course, you, Matt, do all of this within your one HX line 6 line, but currently I'm all separate pedals right now.
Right.
So, but you know, here's it without. Here's my Pog. Now, if I give it the tube, it really makes me a lot happier. And by the time you add that distortion, pretty quiet. You still have to, still always about muting, right? When you turn up all the gain. So that is the heart of my rig. Beyond that, I've just got a couple nice, pleasant effects. I've got the Fender Marine Layer reverb. Always on. It's currently set to subtle. Although, when you turn the knobs all the way up, just gonna go swimming in a cave for a while.
Dude, I love that.
That'll just keep going forever. You can walk away, make your cup of coffee, come back, and it'll still be ringing.
Which reverb is that?
It's the Fender Marine Layer reverb. And I'm aware that there's a lot of really popular extra hip reverbs out there, but I bought this on a day where I wanted a reverb today, now, and I went to Guitar Center to buy the best sounding reverb that I could buy today in person at Guitar Center. This Fender thing it has the largest sweet spot. Like every sound sounded good. Whereas I tried some of the other ones, they were like, it was a much smaller range of usability, whereas pretty much I can turn any knob anywhere and I like the sound. So I really like pedals like that are very user friendly, in that you can twist the knobs and you're like, this is cool, this is cool, this is cool, this is cool, this is my favorite. I have some of the I'm sure you've run across some effects where you're like, ooh, no, nope, yes. Nope, yes. Nope.
Right. Yeah, it's a very narrow band of goodness.
So I'm just looking for stuff that's easy and that works. Next on the tour, I'm not the world's biggest fan of phaser on violin. I think it sounds a little bit dated, at least for the sound in my head that I'm trying to do. But I have found that a slow Leslie simulator is something that I really like a lot. It's almost the same as having a phaser. And again, comes to stealing the ideas from the other instruments. Organs have literal spinning speakers that spin opposite directions. And again, I have the Tech 21 simulator version of this. It's called the Roto Choir, and it is pretty friendly, but it is out of print, so you have to get a used one. When I play this in other people's bands, they tell me to hit that button more on the next set. They're just like, yeah, we didn't bring a keyboard player, but that sounds great. That sounds like a keyboard. You can be the keyboard guy.
Yeah, it plugs the same holes in organ. And when you're doing your sound check earlier, that's the one I was like, dude, what's that rotary speaker? What is that sound? It sounds great.
And this is one of those things. It's like, do you have a rotary speaker sound on a bigger multi-effect, or do you have one pedal that does it best? And I have several other pedals that have this kind of sound, but I'm just very, very happy with the tone quality of this, especially when you add some wah. It's never gonna get old ever. It's just a classic sound that to me is still timeless, even though it's old. So that's coming from fiddle music, a lot of the kind of vibe of sounds I'm looking for. Of course, we've got the wah, which I think is always a little friendlier with delay for melodies, or no delay for chopping. That makes me very happy. I've got the pitchfork also, in addition to the microbox. And it's taken me a long time to figure out what my favorite setting is, and I finally arrived at a fourth down, turned on at like 40%. Is my favorite. Is my favorite situation. Let's make a little loop. So the fourth below is just really kind of well behaved.
Why'd you stop?
I was. Oh,
why? Like, it was just so juicy, it's so good.
Juicy. Yeah, I want the juicy effects. I saw a band called Twisted Pine. There's a bunch of people that I met in Boston when I was living there after I graduated from Berkeley. They've been a band for a long time, and they've been playing really amazing music. If you want to hear, shout out to Twisted Pine, friends. If you want to hear a bass and a fiddle and a mandolin and a flute all play with the most tasteful effects you have ever heard in your life on magical, ridiculous, extended jam band acoustic solos, Twisted Pine is your band. So one of the things Kathleen Parks was doing was just using a POG with like the dry sound all the way up and just adding little bits of other stuff. Usually with effects I go all the way. I'm like, make me sound completely different. But I was inspired by the idea that, you could just add a little bit of that low octave and it's going to fatten it up for that second half of the solo when you want your effects to give you a little bit more different sound. You don't want your effects to play you, and that's what I was worried about a long time ago. But what I have found is that a good effect inspires you to play things that you would have never thought of before. And so you change your playing based on the fact that you have these friends supporting your sound. That's how I think about it.
Isn't that crazy? Like, you'll get ideas that you wouldn't have gotten with another sound.
Yeah.
I don't know why our brains work that way, but they do.
Totally. Well, I like it. Brains are weird. We just have to, we're never going to figure it out. Speaking of brains, the next brain part is my extreme boomerang setup, which is, it's wider than most people's boomerang setups. I've got the normal boomerang here. I've got their out of print Holy Roller expression pedal, which you can use your toe to roll as opposed to rocking back and forth. And I bought this sidecar because why not have more buttons? Give me all the buttons. Just don't make me program more. Just give me more buttons. Take my money. Give me more buttons. I love the boomerang. The buttons really don't have to travel far, so I feel like I can hit it accurate even with one toe. If I go for those like switch kind of buttons, one toe might not cut it. So, let's see. I've got we're almost done with the tour, and then we're going to talk about um, how to use these to get better and to become a better person with more happiness.
There you go.
And that. I do have some stuff I'm testing out that I'm not really ready to show, but let's see. If I just record a quick chop loop. I did just buy the Eventide H9, and I have absolutely barely scratched the surface. However, this is the sound that I'm currently on. So that's I'm exploring synth land right now. It was the best synth sounding pedal I could find. I just love how it responds to your bow. I mean, what?
I love that.
This particular effect is slightly glitchy, so it might not be like. But the glitches are kind of cool sounding.
Yeah, is it a monophonic synth?
Normally you'd have to use an expression pedal to get that kind of changes in the sound, and I'm just bowing, so, and it's just feels very three-dimensional alive, so I'm very excited to dig in, but it's very much outside of my comfort zone. And for those of you listening, your comfort zone may be pedals with menus, but for me, my comfort zone is pedals that are knobs, and then they have labels, and they do only that thing. So entering the world of iPad-controlled multi-effects is a brand new territory for me, and something that I must practice. So it's not on my board going out into public yet, because I don't know yet. I'm still working on it.
Yeah, the H9's a beast. Yeah, Sarah had a question. Do you perform barefoot? Yeah. Is that how you do your looping, is barefoot?
Heck no. I wear shoes. Yeah. It's a boring short answer. I like wearing shoes. I don't really like wearing. I don't go barefoot in public places. Okay, I go a lot of places in Crocs. I'll switch to slightly nicer Olukais. You know what my ideal pedalboard hitting shoe is? Is an Olukai. They make foot shaped. It's shaped like my foot, and it breathes. So that's all I'm looking for. No bare feet in public.
So
Sorry.
You can do the roller on your. You can do the roller on that button with shoes on.
Oh, absolutely. You just roll it. You can move your whole foot. It's really nice because a normal expression pedal, has a lot of travel, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a relative. It's not crazy to think that you could roll it back just a tiny bit, but if here's where it comes in really handy, and maybe I'll get into this. How do you practice and become a better human with a looping pedal, especially? Because all the other pedals are great, and there are things to learn, but it all starts with the looping pedal, because that's what's going to turn you into a one-person band. So, number one reason I use this is to recording drones. Like, for example, right now, I am practicing to enter a fiddle contest. It's coming up this weekend. I am not ready. One of the tunes that I'm playing has a lot of A flat, which is not my world's most comfortable key. So I'm spending every day warming up just in A flat land. So for me to record an A flat drone, I'm going to hit my start record button. Fade it out. Give it a couple more overdubs. Now we sound like 2. Now we're getting into, soon we'll be getting into 3. I want it as thick as possible. I want to be bathed in this sound. Hit that cello button.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's already starting to get loud, so I'm just going to roll it off so it's chill. It's just so easy to make a very, very small adjustment, and then it stays there and nothing can bump it. That's what I like. Add a 5th in there too. I like tuning it before I add it. Because I'm going to be practicing tuning in a bit, so this has to be really good. I can fade it out and talk to my friends, make a phone call, come back. And now I've got my beautiful A-flat drone at a reasonable volume. This is actually the perfect moment, of course, for me to pick up my acoustic where the contest will be performed on.
Right.
Of course, it's bluegrass, so it's Mixolydian, not the major scale. Just really want to get these in tune. Probably not going to go all the way up there in the contest. The thing I always tell everyone to do with scales is to play it over a drone. So you can hear if you're in tune or not. It's very, very important. Am I in tune? I don't know. Now you know. Big difference. Play that scale up and down very slowly. Do the arpeggio up and down. And then improvise, also known as, to all my students, as change the order and use rests. Play all the wrong notes so you know what they are. That's, of course, practicing intonation on the acoustic, but one of the other most revealing effects, and I know Matt knows all about this, is distortion. Whoa, you're going to know.
Yeah, buddy.
When it's the slightest bit out of tune. So that's how I'm practicing A flat, which is just one chord that happens a lot of times in a piece that I'm working on, trying to perform, trying to win $1,000. If I play it good enough, I could win $1,000 at this fiddle contest. So
That sounds like $1,000.
I'm trying to go in with a good attitude. Anything can happen. It certainly wouldn't be the first time if I didn't win, but it would be really cool. So I am practicing. In fact, I almost missed this call because I was sitting here practicing. That's like, where are you? I'm like, I'm right here. I'm practicing.
That's the best reason ever to miss a call. You know, I was practicing, man.
Where are you? I'm right here.
Practicing. I'm in practice land.
Yeah, I'm really happy with this practice setup because I can practice my playing, but I'm also trying to, since I have all these new effects, I'm trying to practice learning how to use them musically. I think it's really important before you go out into the world to know exactly what's going to happen when you push that button, and also to push all of any effect that you could possibly use during a set should be pushed at sound check. The sound engineer should know that your fiddle is going to do this. And that when that happens, that they shouldn't be like, where's that sound? They should already know that all that stuff is all going to be the violin. And yeah, that's so practicing your playing, practicing your effects. For me, if you combine that situation, it's more motivating. I'm not that motivated to sit here and just play. I'm trying to through compose an arrangement for one of the tunes I'll be playing in this contest. So let's just talk about how to use these in real life to accomplish the things that you want. Okay, so all I did, I'm I'm halfway through, and it took me. I won't admit how long that took me to get halfway through, 2 times through a tune, but I've been here all day. But playing slowly makes it easier for me to improvise new ideas.
Okay.
So take just I put the A part in one loop. I'm probably at like we got it turned down. I put the B part in the other loop. So now, this is one of the reasons the boomerang is so good for practicing. Like, I've got an A part slow on one loop channel, I've got a B part on the other, so I can just sit here and think of my ideas, and as I'm doing that, I will record it as a voice memo on my phone. Here, I'll do it in real life. I still have to write the second half of this arrangement. Oops. It doesn't go to the B part automatically. You have to push the B part button. So there's one time through. What I will then do is listen back and harvest my favorite idea. And I will stick my one favorite idea that I just did into my arrangement. We had some people over the other night. I recorded myself playing my solo on that tune. And I used the lick. I used one lick from my solo. We had beers out, we were partying, but I played one lick that I really liked and wanted to steal. And so it takes a while to build kind of a composed solo, but I think if there's a tune that you really want to sound good on, that you're finding challenging, it's worth spending the time to figure out, okay, if I had all the time in the world to make this solo as good as I can, what sounds the most me?
Yep.
So I'm sitting here, I've got my looper, I'm playing slow, I'm drawing on bits from jams, I've got a book with Vassar playing Lonesome Fiddle Blues. okay, it's not a secret. One of the tunes I'm going to play, it's going to win this contest if I do it well. It's going to be Lonesome Fiddle Blues. So I'm like, okay, these are the classic licks.
Yeah.
Let me steal some classic licks, mix them with my own ideas, and then I get something that is true to tradition and is still part of me. And it would have been a huge pain in the butt to figure out without my looping pedal.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to quote somebody, Vassar Clemens is a good choice.
Yeah, he's an interesting player. I did get to meet him as a kid at fiddle camp, and he didn't really know how to explain a single thing about theory. Not one iota of musical words, but he could hear it and he could play it. So when it comes to being in a band, that's what really counts. But he also had a tendency, and not a lot of people talk about this. Vassar had a tendency to just play the whole time over all the verses, all the choruses from the beginning till the end of the song. So I've one of the jam bands I've been in since moving to Colorado. Once in a while, if I get too excited, they're like, "Stop vassaring! It's the first verse. Stop playing." You can do that on the third verse, not the first verse, not the second verse. We just. Oh my gosh, why is my computer ringing? My phone is off, but my computer is ringing. The modern world. Okay.
So what's the deal, right? Rests don't play themselves.
I'm going to put this on a t-shirt. I'm going to make stickers. Rests don't play themselves. You have to play them. And so Vassar and simultaneously for me is a huge inspiration in terms of some of the inventive double stops and phrasing that he played, but also an example of what not to do in a band situation when you have lyricists and singers who really want the story of their song to get out. Just stop playing. Like, here's the vocal, fill in between that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell my students, I'll say, listen to what's happening and then play not that.
Yeah. Don't do that. The singer's playing, get off your A string, get off your E string, play a rest.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to kind of get yelled at by band leaders at set break once in a while, and that'll help us become better people. I think in some ways it's become harder to talk to people about shortcomings and like, you need to change, something about your playing. A lot of people take it personally, but really, I think it's valuable when people can give us advice about what we're not thinking about and how we can better approach playing in a band. Because looping is one thing. I'm sitting here with all my pedals. It's me. It's all about me. But but part of why I'm practicing playing with the pedals is so that when I get into the band situation, I don't do anything that's going to make the band leader mad. Now, of course, I'm now running the Andy Reiner band as well, because I can't only be a side guy. And then I want to be in a band where whatever I say goes. But I still have to practice all those sounds for it to work out. Yeah, I don't know how we got here. But playing music with other humans, I think, is a very big goal for a lot of people. So, yeah, we're just talking about practicing. I think practicing and composing and improvising and looping are all things that make it easier to play with other people.
Yeah.
Especially, you want to chop?
Yeah,
you want to chop? You want to make this sound? You better sit here and practice that, because the loop is going to tell you how perfect it is. Let's see if I can do it good. Now, I have a very basic test. If I'm going to make a backing track video I'll post to YouTube, how many subdivisions can I put in it? Okay, that feels pretty good. Let's add a bass line. Oh, I'm off. There's space at the beginning of this loop because my button was off.
Hey, rests or notes, you have to play them.
That's right. That's right. Luckily, I can on the boomerang, I can erase that loop and make a new one. I think I need some organ in here. There, yeah. Now, of course, all of that is missing the point of if you're trying to chop in a band in public, I'm going to quote Rob Flax here, groove is stamina. Can you do that? How long can you keep doing that and keep with the beat? And therein, I think it's also worth practicing with a metronome in addition to just loops, because metronomes are our friends. They want to help us get better, and I want to get better, and I want to be more hireable. You know who's the most hireable fiddle player on the planet right now? Alex Hargraves.
Mm.
He just got the job with Billy Strings, who's selling out zillions and zillions of huge, gigantic venues. And you know what Alex Hargraves did? He practiced a lot. I don't know that many people who practice that much. There's a couple out there, and they all have really good gigs now.
When you practice, you get better. It's the craziest thing.
So it's hard to like not get down on yourself if you feel like you're not practicing enough. Like you want to get better and you're not practicing enough. So I think there's some downward spirals of mental disasters you can get into, and that's part of why I have a podcast called The River of Suck.
Yeah, let's talk about your podcast.
We should probably mention this because I think it's intrinsic to everything we're talking about. Here's the metaphor. You're standing on one edge of the river of suck. You're on your comfort shore. Behind you is your comfort cave. You're in the place. You do all the things you already know how to do. Play in D major. Play in 4/4. Play a 12-bar blues. On the other side of the river of suck, very far in the distance, you can see tiny little micro versions of yourself who can do all the things that you wish you could do today. The problem is that in between you and future you who could do all the things you wish you could do, you've got the raging whitewater rapids of the river of suck, filled with water, could drown you, rocks could injure you, thought piranhas, those negative thoughts that just pop into your head out of seemingly nowhere and try to sabotage all of your good vibes with thoughts like, I'm not good enough, they don't like me, they think I'm out of tune, they think my ideas are bad. What if I ate the wrong dinner, now I can't sing? What if the list goes on. All of those, especially comparing yourself to other people, is a very common thought piranha for people to deal with. So I'm not saying that I have all of this 100% together. What I'm saying is I like talking about it and talking to people who are really good and have practiced and reached many other sides of the river of suck only to find entire universes of new directions they didn't previously know about. I find that talking about it brings perspective and makes it just a little bit easier to be human and go on for another day.
Yeah,
so,
100%. So you talk to people who do all kinds of stuff, not just musicians. You talk to like regular humans too, right?
That's right. Well, all the negative emotions I have been learning can be traced back to fear. So I talked to a fear and anxiety expert named Kristen Ulmer. She was very cool. I think she knows about the meaning of life, so I'm interested in that. I've talked to people who run haunted houses and run their business based off of other people's fear and understanding fear. I think my favorite besides musicians are scientists, because scientists fail all the time, and when their experiment goes wrong, they don't get down on themselves like musicians do when they fail. They're like, well, that experiment didn't work out. We need a better experiment. I think if you looked at each loop like an Etch-a-Sketch science experiment, rather than the definition of your quality as a human, then we're going to be approaching music from a much healthier place. Because the truth is, we can't play our best solo all the time. And there's moments and there's days when you pick up these instruments and it's hard and we feel like we sound bad and we question why we're here and why are we doing this? Why are we playing the world's hardest instrument, which features other than the fretted vipers, right? What Daryl Anger would call the black hole of the fingerboard, compared with the civilization of frets. So why do we do this? I don't know. Everyone else wishes they could play this, so someone's got to do it. But it does, practicing this instrument does cause an inordinate amount of suffering. And so I'm just trying to ask questions to better understand our suffering and continue forward even with the suffering. Because that's actually the trick, is you will not reach a point where you never suffer anymore, but you will have a healthier perspective. So check out the River of Suck podcast in Spotify, on YouTube, any podcast app. Just search River of Suck and you will find it.
Love it.
And I'll be there forever, trying to keep it going every month. Once in a while I get too many gigs and it's every other month, but I'm trying.
Too many gigs is not usually something we complain about.
Well, I don't know who's listening who feels that they've had to reinvent themselves over the pandemic as a musician, but either you went on unemployment or you reinvented yourself.
Yeah.
Or you were Christian House. Or he still reinvented himself, though. I mean, I tried so many new things, so many like Zoom classes, and with Fiddle Hell we went online, and now it has been great. So we're keeping Fiddle Hell online, but trying to keep up with all of my online new responsibilities that I've created at the same time that the world of music and gigs and performance and people going out to shows is coming back, balancing all that while still getting a chance to get outside. That has been challenging. So Matt asked me if I'd been skiing. I have been this month, yes, but only one time. Yes, I ski in July.
So how many consecutive months have you skied at least once in that month?
I'm at about 9 right now, but I made it to 95 in a row.
Oh my God.
I ended my streak July 31st, 2021 with 95 months in a row skiing.
Wow.
So that's something you can do in Colorado on glaciers if you are smart or dumb enough to want it that bad.
So how often do you take a fiddle out there while you're skiing?
When it's real nice and sunny, I might. The thing is, there's gigs at the ski areas and on the mountains. So we've made a lot of friends just playing for people drinking beers après ski. And it is, let me tell you, folks, this is the perfect place for electric string instruments when you're playing outside at a ski area in the winter and it's snowing on your pedal board, so you have to cover it up, but you're still playing this. Your electric violin. I have this Yamaha, and I use Coda bow. I'm out there with my carbon fiber bow and my electric violin, and we're making it happen. The number of extreme gig situations that you run into it's not just Colorado. People in Florida have to play on beaches in the rain with splashing salt water. I'm pretty sure that's worse than anything I do. You know, you got to be ready. Got to be ready for anything. So
So
this thing always
what's
is.
the best tune to play when you're skiing down a mountain? What should you play? Like definitely not Another One Bites the Dust, but what would you play?
I usually so one of my top tunes to play is Soldier's Joy because you can kind of here's the A part, right? If you're coming up on a challenging moment on the mountain, you can sort of just be like you barely have to move your left hand and you just keep the machine going on the right, make it a little scratchy, and that's real old-timey sounding. You just sound more old-timey. Now, the thing that has been more challenging recently that we've been really trying to figure out is how to get multiple people skiing down, playing music together. You sort of have to synchronize the skiing because everyone seems to want to go at different speeds. So you'll hear the sound kind of come in and out, and it's like, whoa, are we together? You ski up, so are we still together? No, we're not. You have to like reconvene. So I recently got back some footage from the winter where they put wireless Bluetooth microphones on our instruments, and so you can hear us fading in and out of time together. And still have a lot of editing to do, but you're going to see all of the moments that we played in time trickled out. And that's with my wife, Dr. Joy Adams, skiing and playing the cello. I'm pretty certain it's harder to play the cello while skiing than it is to play the fiddle.
I can't even imagine.
Getting it up there in the first place. So credit where credit is due. This is pretty small and easy to hold. The cello is a bigger beast. And shout out to Big Richard. They're playing everywhere. If you haven't heard of Big Richard, you will soon. Check them out at Big Richard Band. Yeah.
There you go.
So I don't know. We keep drifting into other conversations, but the real thing that I guess I would want everyone to think about is how can you use outdoor space to change your music, because the place that you're in changes how you feel. So right now I'm in my studio. I feel really, this is like, this room, the sole purpose is to be a studio. I've got a bass there. I've got bright windows. I can see nice plants outside. I feel good. Here's my comfort zone, right? Here's my practice space. But if I go to the top of a mountain and I play music there, my fiddle's going to go out of tune. I'm going to be breathing less oxygen. I'm going to play maybe not as clean as I could at home, but I'm going to play something more different, inspired in a different way by the space that I'm in.
Right.
So I think people underestimate the value of like just changing your environment. Go outside and sit under a tree. Ask the tree what music the tree thinks you should play. Play music to the tree, for the tree, from the tree. Play music from the universe. Play music for the universe. Go look at bugs. We run a retreat in Colorado called Rustic Roots Retreat, and we used a barn. We had about 8 people at the free improv jam, and there were posts coming down in the barn, and we used each pair of posts as a panel of graphic scores, and we played as a group a 7-movement free improv piece where every movement we would look at a new view through 2 different barn posts. And that was some music that we would have never otherwise come out with. And and it'll never happen again that way.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to change your environment and see how that affects your music. So that's my message. You don't have to ski down a mountain while playing the fiddle to be influenced in a positive way by nature.
Well, it's the exact same thing we were just talking about with pedals, right? You kick a pedal on, nothing has changed about your physical situation. You're playing the same, everything, but there's a different sound coming back to you, and it makes your brain work differently.
Exactly. Totally. Oh, yeah. I mean, part of what is so fun about, cave-like reverbs is that they're like playing in a cave. But it's cooler than that? Playing in a cave.
Unless there's bears.
Finding a tunnel that is really echoey. Yeah, maybe I should play a song. Let's play Bears Don't Know That They're Called Bears.
There you go.
There's this something that is missing from a lot of modern music is songs that have a function besides just being music. So there's a lot of work songs in music history, things that people would help them get through their incredibly hard labor. But this is a song written for walking through nature in the dark, avoiding bears. Because if you sing at the top of your lungs, you're not going to meet a bear. So it sort of became, it started out with, everybody bear now, bear, 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 bear. Like, what can we sing? And so this is sort of where I ended up at my favorite thing to sing for bears so that I don't get eaten by bears. And I guess there are those of you who don't find yourselves running away from wildlife, but as of yesterday, as recently as yesterday, we were running away from a mama moose who was trying to protect her baby. So, but we live in the mountains.
Believe it or not, that doesn't happen in Cary, North Carolina very often.
No. Just gonna lay down a little loop. Oh yeah. Bears don't know that they're called bears. They just know they're bears. Bears don't know that they're called bears. They just know they're bears. They're bears, they're bears. They just know they're bears. They're bears, they're bears. They just know they're bears. Bears don't know that they're called bears. They just know they're bears. Bears don't know that they're called bears. They just know they're bears. The bears, the bears. They just know they're bears. The bears, the bears. They just know they're bears. bears. The bears, the bears. They just know the bears. The bears, the bears. They just know the bears. Bears, bears. Bears don't know that they're called bears. They just know the bears. Bears don't know they're called bears. They just know the bears. The bears, the bears. They just know the bears. The bears, the bears. They just know the bears. The bears, the bears, they just know the bears. The bears, the bears, they just know the bears. The bears, the bears, they just know the bears. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Functional music that you can use in real life
To
to
save
not get
you.
eaten by bears.
Life-saving music right here.
That's right.
Dude, we're out of
All-
time, but thank you so much for doing this. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Electric Violin Shop. I know who I'm going to call when I want advice. Speaking of which, we got a calendar. I want to take a lesson with Matt. With you. I have some questions. So
Yeah, we'll do that.
let's
And
yeah.
tell people where they can find you, your calendar, your stuff.
Oh, yeah. So andyreiner.com is sort of the hub of everything. I am releasing singles as often as I can. I don't know if I can say exactly what frequency, but as often as I can on a first of the month. And I'm showing up in Spotify, Bandcamp, all of the music streaming places, Apple Music. Tidal, if you want the highest quality audio file, ridiculous 20 million bit sound, I'm there with my 20 million bit sound. So just search my name and listen to my music. I'm coming out with a lot of music that I'm really excited about that I've collaborated on with amazing musicians. My next one coming up is called High T, which is got tabla and electric bass and fiddle. So it's pretty cool. That comes out August 1st. You can pre-save it on Spotify. And what else? Let's see. Fiddle Hell. We always have Fiddle Hell coming up in person in November, fiddlehell.org. We've got online in April. And if anyone wants to play a barn and some mountains as a graphic score and sit in some hot springs and eat ridiculous farm like potluck food, that's Rustic Roots Retreat. We just figured out our dates for next year. It's going to be our 12th year doing it. We're really hitting our stride now. That's going to be July 12th through 18th. And if you need to reconnect with yourself as a human, with your instrument, and meet some other wild humans who want to howl at the moon and eat a lot of food, visit Whiskey Rock. It's a risky walk to the Whiskey Rock. Come to Rustic Roots Retreat. That's rusticroots.net. Then also River of Suck.
Yeah.
That's right, River of Suck podcast wherever. And I'm married to Dr. Joy Adams, who plays the cello, so I am one of the biggest cheerleaders ever of Big Richard Band, so go check him out. I think that's about mostly what I got for now. Scott Slay in the Rail, though. I'm playing with Scott Slay in the Rail. It's a great band. We're going to enter the Rocky Grass Band Contest, see if we win. Be cool. And, yeah, that's the... I play my music, and I play other people's music.
Just whatever you
And
play,
so
play
should
it
you.
loud.
That's right. Thank you, Matt Bell. Thank you, Electric Violin Shop.
Woo!
Thank you, everyone who's listening. Reach out. Say hi. Don't be a stranger. Have fun.